So I just got done watching Bill and Ted Face the Music. I reviewed Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey, which were both most excellent. So you can watch my reviews for those. I'm just going to sum up my thoughts on them. I think Excellent Adventure is a great movie. I think Bogus Journey is even better. Some people are kind of iffy on it, but I think it doing something different, and of course the character death, and just having more fun with the Bill and Ted characters and even stranger scenarios is great, and I really liked it. And so, I thought the movie was even funnier than the first movie. So yeah, I think that's great. So when it came to this movie, I was very excited about it. I was also very cautious about it. And in my mind, I was like, yes, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. Like, because the trailers had all been great. But I was also kind of cautious, okay? Because, let's see if I have it over here. There it is. I'm a fan of Zoolander, right? I'm a fan of Dumber and Dumber and these comedies like that. I need to get a copy of Dumber and Dumber, but you know what I mean? I'm a fan of those type of movies. And those movies, so the kind of late sequels to comedies, don't usually turn out very well. Zoolander 2, awful. Dumb and Dumber 2, not awful, but also not that great either. So, they don't have the best track record. And I will say, this movie is not great like the other ones. It's not the same level. I should warn you now, there will be mild spoilers. So there will be like some information that wasn't in the trailers that I'll say. It's nothing that will ruin the viewing experience of watching this movie. But if you were want to go into the movie completely blind, you don't want to know anything, I don't know why you're watching this review if you do. But warning, do not continue watching this video because I'm giving you your warning now. So I rented this movie. No, sorry, I didn't rent it. I bought it. So, which is more I'll do for Mulan. By the way, side note, Mulan on Disney Plus, when that comes out this Friday, it's going to be $30. If you wait till December, you can watch it without paying the $30. So, I'll review it then. Screw the $30 price point that they're doing. But anyways, I really liked this movie. I'll say that. Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves are, as great as ever. In fact, they just jump back into their roles so well. I don't know how to pronounce the actresses who played their daughters, but they were also great. The one daughter was doing a almost Keanu Reeves impression. They were perfect casting. They were excellent as those characters, and that was not a pun, but they were excellent. So, but I think all that stuff was great. And the comedy at times was great. And keep in mind I say at times because here's my problem with this movie. It is way too cluttered. It is a very messy story, right? Because you have Bill and Ted. We've seen them in the trailers. They're going back to, or not going back. They're going to the future to steal the song from themselves. So that way, because it's not stealing if they're stealing it from themselves, right? So that way they can save the universe, okay? You got their daughters, which also have a subplot in this movie, where they are time traveling back and getting famous musicians, right? Cool. Then you have that other subplot with a killer robot trying to kill Bill and Ted. You have a subplot with the daughter of Rufus's character, and his daughter having a subplot with her mother. You have a subplot with Ted's dad. And you have, even death has a subplot within this movie. There is so many subplots, and none of them are given the right time to shine. And it's really weird, because this is a comedy movie, right? And you wouldn't expect a comedy movie to have that much story. Like when I think about Zoolander, right? Zoolander is a movie where the plot of the movie is fashion models who end up in a plot to kill the president of Malaysia. That's it. Like, that's the plot of the movie. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's not very smart, but it doesn't need to be. It's a really funny movie, right? Or like Weekend at Bernie's. Bernie dies. Our two characters try to cover up the death of Bernie. That's it. That's the plot of the movie. You know, Big. Tom Hanks, he's an adult. He's a kid who turns into an adult, and that's the plot. You know, it takes these small little things, and then you write jokes around that. Because you're not supposed to be invested in a story. You come there to laugh. And so, you know, this movie has a very complicated story. It's very, very, very complicated. And it ruins a lot of the comedy, which is why you're watching this movie. It's not that there isn't comedy, and it's not that I didn't laugh. Like, I laughed quite a bit, but it's like, you got this story going on here, and every time they brought up this story, okay, I went, oh, I stopped laughing. And it interrupted moments of comedy, because I'm like, okay, well, if I laugh, I'm trying to laugh and pay attention to what's happening, and it just doesn't all come together. It isn't bad. This is definitely the worst of the Bill and Ted movies. It's not a bad movie. Like, it's good for what it is. I just think if they tighten up the story a little bit, and how I would have done it is I would have deleted some of these subplots, like the princesses and him and them going to couples therapy. I would have cut that. There's just no reason for it. It doesn't need to be here. I would have cut the story about Ted's dad. Cut it. Okay? I would have cut... so, you know, the killer robot thing is kind of just a ripoff from Bill and Ted 2. I'd cut that. I'd also take Rufus's daughter character and cut her role down significantly and cut her mom out of the equation. Why we need her mom in this story, I do not know. Cut it down. Because you think about, like, Rufus. He comes in like a total of 3 times in the original Bill and Ted. And it's a little weird that he keeps re-popping up throughout the story. We need to just, no. Let's slow that down. Let's not have her show up. Because she's in a fair portion of this movie when she just does not need to be. And if you cut her role down significantly, it would have been so much better. I will say, though, this is a movie that's very predictable. If you know how the movie's going to go, for the most part anyways. But it's not, but like... It's not a bad predictable. It doesn't make you angry that you know where the story's going to go. You're still, like, engaged in having fun because it's a fun comedy. But I will say, if that's, you know, it's just a little predictable. Also, the effects here. The effects were, you know, fine in the original. They weren't, like, mind-blowing, but they're not very good here. Like, it's not, oh my gosh, that's horrible. It's like... it's some very obvious green screen, but it's not like, I can't look at it. It's fine. It just could have been had a little bit more budget money put into it, maybe. And for all we know, because of this COVID crap, they may have not been able to finish the effects properly. Maybe that's why it looks the way it does. That could be. I don't know. But I think when you got the first 2 Bill and Ted movies, those are A's. They're not A, but when you get to this movie, it's kind of like a C minus. It's, you know, actually it's a C plus. Like, it's almost quite a B, but it's just not there. And I think that's where we're at with this movie. It's kind of unfortunate because I was hyped as hell for this movie. I was like, yes, I want Bill and Ted 3, but it didn't turn out all that great. But how did we end up in this year? Okay. We got a Sonic movie that was actually, you know, watchable and good somewhat. I wouldn't call it like a good movie. I'd say it was a fun, entertaining movie, but, you know, I wouldn't call it a good movie. We got this movie, which I was actually excited for, which turned out to be meh. And then we got Trolls World Tour destroying theaters. And we got Scoob, my most anticipated film of the year. And that was awful. Where's the bright side to this year? Where's the bright side to this year? It is hilarious. Honestly, you gotta laugh, people, because this is one of those years where if you don't laugh, you're gonna start crying, and I just don't want to see you all cry. So, laugh while you can, because you may not be around much longer. Because it's the end of the world, apocalypse coming soon. So.